This is Haleeman giving you your hot indie news on M3 Radio. It's a well-known scientific fact that every time you masturbate, God kills a kitten. So what was a Minnesota school principal thinking when he used a pistol to terminate 2 orphan kitties on school grounds? He claims to have killed the cats to save them from starving, and he murdered the Mausers while students, who heard the shots, were still on school property. It's hard to believe, but the sheriff said the principal could face felony charges because of some crazy law about carrying firearms on school grounds. My advice? Next time, just slip into some place private like a quiet lavatory or dark supply closet and relax yourself a bit before making any rash decisions. You just may kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It's getting crowded around here. This week, the U.S. estimated its 3 millionth citizen was born. That's a 50% increase in the population since 1967, and people in this country are consuming increasing amounts of food, oil, land, and energy. Our summer air conditioning alone uses as much fuel as used to power India for a year. The growth in our consumption patterns has scientists a lot more worried about our citizen count. So besides obesity, we also seem to suffer from what's called urban sprawl. Yeah, we like it big. Size matters. Holy hog heaven, Batman, will the good life kill us? I believe former President Clinton may have declared a Democratic manifesto. Forget about 2008. Forget about the politics. Just go out and find somebody and look them dead in the eye and say, you know this is not right. This is America. We can do better. He claimed the Republicans controlling the White House and Congress paint themselves as pure, and the rest of us who don't agree with them as stained in order to divide the country and stay in power. Criticizing Bush tax cuts, he called for the Dems to correct the imbalance without raising taxes. Bill, you're singing the song Americans want to hear. An angry 14-year-old schoolgirl scribbled "Kill Bush" across a picture of number 43 on her MySpace page. The ticking teen time bomb, angry about the Iraq War, then received a visit from 2 Secret Service men. After lying to her principal and parents in order to interrogate the adolescent anarchist, these brave agents yelled and threatened the child until she was crushed like a Guantanamo grape. In other words, they made her cry. After examining the details of this case, the Justice Department has decided she posed no real danger. My fellow Americans, we can all rest easier knowing fearless Fosdick is fighting for our freedom. They say lightning can't strike twice, but then again, they say a lot of stuff. Last week, a small plane crashed into a New York City building. I heard that immediately after, W called Chief of Staff Karl Rove and said, "Heck of a job, fat boy, heck of a job." Sorry, just couldn't pass that one up. Anyway, one of the apartments the plane plowed into belonged to the same woman who was seriously injured by a feisty float a few years ago at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. She was out at the time and thus escaped injury. Not someone you'd ever want to fly in a plane with, is it? File this one under "You look good enough to eat." No, that's not a line in a new Hannibal Lecter film or a text Mark Foley sent to a Tasty Teen page. By the way, I heard that when that scandal broke, Republicans issued and then recalled a memo asking all the guys in the GOP to get onto the same page. Sorry. Anyway, a pastry chef in the Ukraine made his fiance's wedding gown out of 1,500 cream puffs, and it weighed more than 20 pounds. The blushing bride admitted at first she felt queasy wearing the doughy dress, but soon fell in love with the sugary smock. I wonder if guests at the ceremony threw rice or sprinkles. Who's in the Profiles in Courage spotlight this week? It's British General Sir Richard Denham. The top UK commander concluded the war in Iraq has only exacerbated the world terrorist problem and that troop withdrawal should begin very soon. Essentially, he feels it has endangered Englishmen domestically and abroad. Sir Richard now stands with a growing number of major military men speaking out against their own commander-in-chiefs and stating the obvious about the illogical invasion that became an unwinnable war. Think about it. America's on the verge of a crime epidemic. This is according to a report released by police chiefs at their national conference. It warns we've bred an alarmingly vicious culture of violence that allows minor issues to escalate into acts of crime, which seems to have no rhyme or reason. Many high-ranking officers noted that we're evolved into a civilization without value for life and contend that Homeland Security has usurped hometown security. Oh my God, someone called the police. It sounds to me like they've been listening to hot indie news. But sadly enough, this kind of news doesn't make me want to get up and do the "I told you so" dance. Oh, what the hell, why not? This was Haleeman giving you your hot indie news on M3 Radio.